Say watch. Alright, so we're here in Baltimore. We got here last night.
Yep.
Right? What are we here for?
We are here for my cheer competition.
It's just a short train ride away from where you really want to be. Baltimore is the new Brooklyn, yeah. But no one really wants to be down in Washington, D.C. I said that Baltimore is the new Brooklyn, yeah. It's just a short train ride away from where you really want to be. Oh, listen to what I'm saying. You're gonna be by the bay, yeah, yeah. But it's much better than New Jersey.
So I wanted to find someplace cool to film around Baltimore, but it's really cold outside and it's a little hectic with everything going on. Last night went up to the Horseshoe Casino. Didn't have a lot of money on me, so I just took a seat in a 1-3 game. Action was awesome. I've never been to the room before. It was really nice, but the action seemed great. So sat down, bought it for $300. So I was really tired yesterday and I did not feel like doing the play every hand challenge. It was a long day, so I felt like if I tried to play every hand, it wasn't gonna work out well. So I did play a lot of hands, just not all of them. So just tried something a little different, playing a normal poker session and seeing how it went. So first hand comes up, there's a couple limps, and I make it $15 in the hijack with queen, 5 of clubs. A little loose obviously, but we're in there to play some hands. Button calls, and when you take the flop, heads up. The flop comes king, queen, 9 with 2 hearts and a club. I decided to check it over to him, and he bets $15. We have middle pair, backdoor flush draw, so make the call. The turn is the 7 of clubs, so we pick up the backdoor flush draw. Check it over to him again. He bets $30 this time, not going anywhere. Got a call. He does only have $50 behind, which isn't ideal, but gonna make the call here. And on the river's the 10 of clubs, so we get there with the queen high flush. He shoves before I even have a chance to check. Obviously beat him in the pot with the call, but it turns out he has ace king of clubs, so we lose that one. I didn't think we were going to lose that one on that river card, but so not off to the greatest start. Into the game for $425 already, maybe 10 to 15 minutes into the session. Fun table though, for sure. This next hand is evidence of me playing lots of hands. I believe there were 3 or 4 limpers. I limp on the button with deuce 4 of spades. The big blind goes ahead and makes it $20, and there's 2 calls when it gets back to me closing the action, so I throw in the other $17 and we see a flop. The flop comes jack 8-2 with 2 clubs and a heart, and the big blind bets $40. One of the limpers calls, and to me, closing the action again, bottom pair. Not feeling great about it, but go ahead and make the call. You know, whatever. I have bottom pair. I can make trips or 2 pair or something. See what happens. The turn is an offsuit 7, the 7 of hearts, bringing backdoor hearts, and it checks to me. I decide to just check and hopefully get there. I'm trying to talk about poker.
That's great, I don't care.
We're talking about poker. So the river is an offsuit 4, so we make 2 pairs, so that's a good card for us. And the big blind goes out and checks, and the player in mid position bets $100. When he bet $100, I felt pretty confident he was bluffing, so I didn't even need really the 2 pair to make the call, but I did make the call, obviously. The big blind hems and hauls a bit and makes the fold, and the middle position player shows queen 10 of hearts for queen high, and our 2 pair is good, so deuce 4 works out for us. The Horseshoe had a ridiculous promotion going on, which is a $200 high hand every 10 minutes. I didn't realize it was every 10 minutes until I opened to $20 after a couple lippers with ace king offsuit, got 2 calls, and we took the flop and it came king, king, king. So I flopped quads, which is already going to be eligible for the high hand, so that's a great start. When they checked to me, I decided to just check and give someone a chance to improve their hand. The turn is an offsuit 2, and the small blind checks. The early position player bets $20, so that's good news. I make the call, and the small blind folds. The river's a 4, and he checks. I go ahead and try to get some value. I bet $80, thinking he's probably going to call with most full houses. He thinks a while and folds pocket 2s. I show my hand, and they call the floor over for the high hand. and they put me up on the board. At the time, I thought I actually had to fade another 40 minutes. I thought it was every 10 minutes after the hour they gave it out. But here, no, it's every 10 minutes. And the qualifier is only aces full. So every 10 minutes, they're giving away $200 for the high end. I survived the 10 minutes and get the extra 200 bucks, which was pretty awesome. At this point, things are going really well. Action is good at the table. Everyone's having a good time. There's several limps, and I decided to limp with pocket sixes. And we go, I believe, 5 ways to the flop, which comes ace, 10, 6 with 2 spades. So pretty enjoyable flop for me. Action checks to a player in mid position who's a little short stack. He bets $10. I decided to just call, keep other players in the pot who can hopefully improve their hand. It folds back to a player in middle position who is definitely been on the action side. He makes the call. He's the player from the Queen 10 of Hearts hand. And he makes the call. So we take the turn 3 ways, which is an offsuit 10, making me a full house and most likely improving some of my opponent's hands. Unfortunately, it's kind of an awkward spot as the early position player checks. The guy in mid position bets $10 again with $30 behind. So I really do want to get more money in the pot, but I also don't want to freeze out the guy behind me who could easily be drawing dead. So I go ahead and just call, and the early position player calls as well. The river's an offsuit 4, doesn't really change anything. And the early position player now leads $25, which is great news for us because it's pretty likely that he has a 10 in his hand. He was not looking to fold anytime soon, I don't think. The player in mid position folds. I go ahead and make it $110 more, so I made it $135. Could probably go even bigger than that. I probably should go even bigger than that. He had $200 more behind that as well. But I make it $135. He doesn't take too long, and he makes the call, and I show my hand, and we're good. So I ended up playing for about 2 hours and 40 minutes. It got pretty late. It was about midnight, and we had to wake up early to this morning for a cheer. So I wrapped up the session, ended up being in the game for $425, cashing out for $967 total, which was a profit of $542 in my short 2.5 hour session, which was pretty nice. Plan for today, we had the cheer competition this morning, and then kind of roamed around the city a little bit. Gonna figure out some food, and then probably gonna head back up either to the Horseshoe, where there is a 5-10 no limit 5-5 PLO game going, or head over to Maryland Live, check out Maryland Live, and maybe play in a 10 1/4 game if that gets going. So play some higher stakes action, maybe shoot some real vlog footage once again for an actual poker session. So the Horseshoe was awesome. Like I said, the room was really nice, and definitely wouldn't mind going back up there again tonight. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so back here in the hotel lobby. It's Sunday morning now, and I'm really tired. Last night, after dinner, went up to the Horseshoe again. There was a 5-10 no limit 5-5 PLO game going, half and half game. So hopped in there, and it was a fun game, a lot of action. I bought in for $2,500 initially, added on as the night went on. It was a fun game though. The regulars were really nice and friendly, and they were prop betting on a bunch of different aspects of my life, which was pretty funny. But really was card dead the entire session. I actually only have one hand to discuss from the session. It came from the no limit portion. It folded to me in the cutoff, and I opened to $35 with King Queen offsuit. Small blind 3-bet to $100. I think at the time we were playing about 3K effective. So I got to make the call, which could definitely 4-bet, could definitely just fold. But I got to make the call, see the flop. Flop comes down Jack 10-4 with 2 diamonds. He continues for $120 with the open ended, not going anywhere obviously. I'm going to make the call and play some turns and rivers. So I do go ahead and call. The turn is the 10 of diamonds, bringing the flush in and pairing the middle card. So really good card for my range. He goes ahead and checks, and I bet $275. He doesn't think too long, makes the call. So I'm pretty much planning on barreling most rivers. Fortunately, the river's the 9 of diamonds. Interesting card. We do make the straight, but 4 flush comes in. And when he checks, I think a bit, and I don't think I'm gonna get him to fold a better hand, so I go ahead and just check, and he shows ace-king with the king of diamonds. So I think we're gonna win on most river cards, aside from a diamond. So Unfortunate river card there for us, but that was the biggest pot that I played the entire night, and mostly just called some pre-flop raises here and there and had to check full flops, or didn't really get to put much money in the pot other than that. So ended up losing. I was in for 5K, ended up cashing out $37.80 for a $1,220 loss. Played about 3 hours, finished up around 11:30, and then Ubered back to the hotel. Got about 5 hours of sleep, and then woke up for day 2 of this cheer competition. And they just competed. We're waiting on awards now.
Microbursts! And in first place, your gold champions, your 2019 American Masters National Champions, South Jersey Storm Tornadoes!
It's Cameron, and we want a grand champion. And make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment down below, give some big thumbs up. Bye, YouTube! Ava! 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 What? Oh, hi.
That it's